Well, I think making things is good for learning, and it's good for lots of different kinds of conversation. Through making things, then people are able to express something about themselves or what they wish to communicate in a different kind of way. Some people are very good at just speaking and being able to articulate the things that are most important to them in a way that other people can understand and connect with, but not everybody's like that. And whoever you are, I think it's a valuable process to go through a task or activity which requires you to think about something in a different way, to make something that represents it, perhaps metaphorically, and then to explain it to others. And because you construct something, you put in different elements all in one go. I mean, you put in one element, you put in another element, and another one, and so on. But then when you present it to other people, then you're able to explain this whole, and it gives a kind of overview of what you wish to communicate, and then you can explain each of the parts. And because people have seen these physical parts with their eyes and connected with them in a different way to our normal mode of conversation, it makes the experience more memorable, sometimes more personal or intimate or revealing, in a way which I think is valuable. It's valuable in learning especially, but valuable in many kinds of conversation as well. Well, of course, Lego can be used in higher education in lots of different ways. The way I've mostly used it is that I worked with the Lego group to develop a process that they'd already developed called Lego Serious Play, which is a consultancy process for adults run in businesses and organisations where they build metaphorical models of their experiences or of how their teams work or of company strategy in Lego, so that you've got this 3D thing that you can look at and examine and see what's next to what, where the connections are, what works, what doesn't work. I developed that as a research tool to use for sort of sociological research, to get ordinary people, members of the public, to build metaphorical models about things that concern them or their identities. We did that, and since then in other contexts I've used versions of Lego Serious Play to get students reflecting on their learning journey. You can build that. I've worked with academics thinking about their professional roles and how their university works and fits together. I've also used it as a kind of icebreaker to get conversations going, because it's good for that. The benefits of learning through Lego. I don't know if I would say learning through Lego as such. I think that building things, creating 3D artifacts can support your learning process and supports reflection in particular. So that's the value of it. So Lego is a really good tool for that purpose. Lego in itself obviously doesn't teach you anything. It's just a tool. But what it can do is support and facilitate, or can be used to facilitate, conversations where people can make connections between each other because they've built things. They've gone through that slightly challenging, odd, personal experience of having to build something that represents how they feel about a thing. And then they can see what other people have built. They feel a connection with them because you can see the thing that they've made. People feel connections with the objects that they've made themselves. You can then look at them, revise them, change them. And there's something to do with having this shareable object within the conversation, a sort of third thing to look at. So it's not just a one-to-one conversation where it's you and me in a room. It's you and me and this thing that I can talk about, where I can tell you about my experiences by talking around this model that I've made. That seems to really help. Basically, it's a tool for reflection. Often we go through life getting on with stuff and not necessarily reflecting on it, and you kind of, for many of us at least, you need some kind of prompt that sort of gets you into the zone of thinking about what you do and reflecting on what you do. And mostly we're thoughtful as we go through our lives, but you often don't take a step back and look at the whole thing and sort of review it in any formal or systematic kind of way. And if you're invited to sort of sit down and build your experience of a thing in Lego or using other media, And then, so you make a thing, you go through the process of making the thing, and then you can look at and review the thing and see what you've made and think, oh yeah, my life is like that, or my learning is like that, and maybe I could change it in some way. That's what's powerful. To pose a question to you, I suppose the obvious one is, can you think of ways that build upon the principles of the Lego Serious Play process, if you're familiar with that, or which go beyond using Lego and use different kinds of materials? I've found problems with using different kinds of materials, but every material you use has certain affordances, certain possibilities that it opens up, certain ones that maybe it closes down. So my challenge to you would be to sort of think of embellishments or new ways of having sort of reflective processes where we make something and have to talk about it as part of a process of reflection, and what creative tools can really bring out meaningful, thoughtful reflection.